So we will discuss about a very important chapter of Indian history, that is the freedom struggle of our country. So it's a very important part, and freedom struggle particularly is very important from the perspective of competitive examinations. So let us talk about a very important aspect of freedom struggle, that is Gandhiji. Uh, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, or Gandhiji, was trained in Britain, was by profession a lawyer. He went to South Africa in 1893 and resided there for 21 years. The treatment of Indians in South Africa by the British provoked his conscience. He decided to fight against the policy of racial discrimination of the South African government. During the course of his struggle against the government of South Africa, he evolved the technique of satyagraha. This technique is based on purely Indian philosophy, that is, non-violent resistance. Non-violently you stick to the principles of truth and justice. Nowhere else in the world this technique was used. This technique was introduced for the first time by Gandhiji in South Africa, and it became very popular. It became, it touched the newspaper limelight. Newspapers started reporting about it, and obviously the South African government, which was very harsh, had to give way. Gandhiji returned to India in 1915. In 1916, he founded Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad to practice the ideas of truth, justice, non-violence. His political guru in India was Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who advised him to tour the entire country, especially villages in India, so that he can understand the true India. This is very important in present context. All the political leaders of today should adopt it before they start giving any political lecture. They should start touring India, especially Indian villages, and try to understand what is India. The first experiment that Gandhiji did in India was Satyagraha at Champaran. Champaran is in Bihar, and this experiment was conducted in 1917. Gandhiji organized peasants and raised the voice of peasants against the oppressive platforms. So this was the first initiative by Gandhiji to raise the voice against oppression in India in 1917. Satyagraha by peasants of Kheda district was second initiative by Gandhiji, and then in Ahmedabad he organized the movement of cotton mill workers and transformed these mill workers into very well organized people and almost partners of the cotton mill. The culmination of Gandhian philosophy resulted in non-cooperation movement, which was started in 1920. Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement in August 1920, in which he appealed to the people not to cooperate with the British government. At that time, Khilafat movement started by Muslims. That was with regard to Turkey, because the Britishers were oppressing Turkey. So Muslims started Khilafat movement. So Gandhiji merged the two movements, non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement, into a common movement against the Britishers. Now, in this way, everyone in India was against Britishers, Hindus, Muslims, everybody. So this way, the non-cooperation movement started. It continued from 1920 till 1922. In 1922, an incident of violence took place. Gandhiji was against violence. He continued his movement only with non-violence. There was no use of any violence at all. But when violence took place, Gandhiji stopped this movement. During this movement, a lot of activities were done by common people of India. They surrendered the titles and honorary offices of British government. They refused to attend the official functions of the British government. They boycotted British courts. They boycotted British products. They refused to take part of military or other British services. So in this way, this non-cooperation movement was very successful. They also boycotted the elections of legislative councils. They boycotted foreign goods. It was Swadeshi movement very well. Swadeshi movement took place in 1905 also. At the time, that was more confined to Bengal and nearby places. But non-cooperation movement was spread throughout the country. And in that, not only it was a Swadeshi product, but people also started Swadeshi schools, national schools and colleges. So the non-violent non-cooperation movement, which started auspiciously, was marked by violence in August 1921 in Chauri Chaura, and thereafter Gandhiji stopped this movement. 30,000 people were imprisoned by the Britishers, and it was Chauri Chaura movement took place on 9th February 1922. Right, at Chauri Chaura village in Gorakhpur in UP. And this violence resulted in stopping the movement. Gandhi suspended his non-cooperation movement on 14th of February, I mean after 1 week of this incident, and thereafter this non-cooperation movement was stopped. Thereafter, another movement was started which was called civil disobedience. Civil disobedience movement was started after the Simon Commission. Simon Commission visited India in 1927, and everyone opposed the British government's initiative because in Simon Commission there was no Indian. The chairman was John Simon, and there was no Indian member in that entire commission. So Indians boycotted this all-white commission. And when Simon Commission visited India, the people shouted, "Simon, go back! Simon, go back!" During this time, a lot of demonstrations took place against Britishers, and lathi charge was done by British government. And during lathi charge, great Indian leader Lala Lajpat Rai was severely assaulted by the police, and he died from these injuries. So civil disobedience movement was started by the Congress based on their resolution in 1928. 1928, December 1928, they had a session in Kolkata where they demanded Swaraj, that is dominion status, but Swaraj. So this was the Britishers. The Britishers were asked to give to take 1 year to give complete autonomy to Indians under the concept of Swaraj. So 1 year period was given to British government to accept the Congress demands. So civil disobedience movement under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi would be launched to realize this objective. The Britishers obviously did not give any heed, so this movement was started. The most important part of this movement was Dandi March. Dandi March was started on 12th March 1930 from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat, and it had to cover 390 kilometers. Gandhiji walked down 390 kilometers of distance, and from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Dandi is located as a coastal village in Gujarat. So Gandhiji, along with his 78 followers, set out on foot towards Dandi. And in Dandi, they broke the salt, the extracted salt from the sea. And they said there should not be any duty on salt. So Gandhiji started walking from 12th of March and reached Dandi on 6th of April, where they picked up salt, broke the salt, and broke the salt laws and launched mass civil disobedience movement. Thereafter, Gandhiji was arrested by the Britishers and put him in Yarwada jail in Pune. So Gandhi-Irwin Pact later on. This Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed in 1931, in which various demands of Gandhiji were fulfilled, and Gandhiji was thereafter Gandhiji went to participate in the roundtable conferences in which all political leaders were invited by the Britishers. Gandhiji also represented India, and he did not participate in the first roundtable conference, but he participated in the second and the third roundtable conferences. So he was the sole representative of Congress, but no settlement arrived in these conferences. In April 1934, Gandhiji withdrew the civil disobedience movement. Thereafter, Gandhiji obviously introduced another movement, which was Quit India movement, which was subsequently launched as the last movement by Gandhiji. So we have briefly reviewed the most important role played by Gandhiji during civil disobedience, during the freedom struggle in the form of movements. These most important movements that we have discussed: non-cooperation movement, which infused Swadeshi movement also, which infused patriotism in the minds of everybody, which heralded Indian educational institutions in India. And then we also discussed about civil disobedience movements. Both these movements were part of Indian freedom struggle. The most important objective through all these movements was that people in India should raise their voice. If common people becomes aware and starts opposing atrocities, this would obviously result in empowerment of common people. And this was the objective of Gandhiji. Gandhiji did not want people to use violence. Gandhiji wanted people to become conscious, become aware, use their mind, use their judgment, and use their entire capabilities in fight against the Britishers. That was the most important objective.